Okay, guys, so we're going to start learning some wonderful things about Adobe Bridge and Photoshop and a bit of web. So I have opened up Adobe Bridge and I'm using the downloader. So let me just close this again. So when you go to Bridge, click on this icon right here, and it'll find the media that's on your computer. This one is the Kingston card. And I have Ed's pictures here. Thanks, Eds, for sharing these. And I'm going to assume the last ones are the best ones, Ed. Okay, so I'm going to uncheck all and just select this one. And let me know which one I should stop at. Around here. Yeah. I'm going to hold Shift, click, and see I'm only highlighting these, and I will check mark this. And location, product 360 demo, and I will make a subfolder, custom name. I'll just say Ed Duck D. Okay. And you can see as it downloads, it's bringing it in. Cool. So here's Bridge, and some really cool things are happening here. Now, one of the first things I'm going to show you is the rename. Now, these are just named IMG underscore 0087. That's kind of the file allocation that the computer and the camera gives it. So one of the cool things I'm going to do here is press Command A. And when you go to Tools on Bridge, you can do a batch rename. Okay, so I'm going to show that again. Tools, batch rename. Okay, click on it. Now, you can do some cool things with naming it. I'm just going to call it a sequence number. And I'll explain that why in a sec. Is you'll probably have to do this when you script it for your web language. It's just easier to have it as just numbers. So this first one will be called 01, and it goes based off the sequence of numbers that the file's named. Okay, so everything's going to be named within 2 digits, and we're going to start off at 1. I could start off at 0. You can see the example right here. It'll be this. It'll change it to that. But I'll just leave it as 1, and I'll rename. And voila, all the pictures are named in sequence. Cool. Now, one of the things you're going to deal with, oops, I just rate them all. Press Command A and Command 0. One of the things you're going to deal with is file size. Now, this image is, as you can see here, 5,000 and change by 3,000 and change. It's huge. Okay, most screens don't even have that resolution. That's really big. So we need to reduce the size of the image. Okay, so I'm going to press Command A, selecting them all. I'm going to go back to Tools. And here we have a connection to the Photoshop software. So we're going to do an image processor. And what this does is opens up Photoshop, and you're going to see like step 1 of really cool Photoshop automation, right? Let me expand this. So this box pops up, and it says, hey, you want to see this as a JPEG? I'm like, yes. But primarily, you want to resize it. Now, do some research on what size you want to do. Me personally, I wouldn't go anything bigger than, say, 800 pixels. Okay, and I'll do that for the height as well. Well, actually, I'll just leave the width as 600 because I know 800 because I know it's all landscape. The quality, I'll leave it as 8. And what I'll do, it'll save in the same location. So I'm going to run this, and you're going to see Photoshop. Oops, let me just give it a height of 600. It takes each picture, and I'll just go back to Bridge to show you what's happening. And there's a folder called JPEG in this folder. And as we're doing this, it's getting all those images, and you can see that the size of the JPEG has been reduced. But we still have the original size here, so we're just making a duplicate. Okay, so we always have these backed up. So that's one thing you can do. Well, actually, two things: renaming and batch conversion. Now, here's some really cool stuff. Now we're gonna go into our JPEG folder, and actually, how much pictures are there? 54. And where are we at here? 54. Awesome. So I'm going to press Command A, select all the smaller compressed JPEG files. And I'm going to go back to Tools, Photoshop, and we can do something called Batch. Now, before I do, I'm just going to open one of these pictures into Photoshop. So I'll double click this, and it should open in Photoshop for me. Okay. So what I'm going to show you here is pretty cool. You may know this, you may not know this. I'm not too sure your skill level with Photoshop. But we're going to do a action recording. Okay. Now, if I'm going to Window, you'll see a thing called Actions. It'll pop up. Now, there are some really cool predetermined actions that Photoshop has made. Like, for example, if I want to do this onto your photograph, you press play, it creates it to a sepia tone. No, I don't want that, so I'm going to go back to the original JPEG. Now, under Actions, I'm going to create my own. So I click on this little part of the user interface, and I say New Action. I'm going to call this Color Correct. Okay? And I can set it to F1 if I wanted to, change the color if I. So what I'm going to do now is everything I do will get recorded. Okay? So notice on the side here, for example, if I go to Image, Adjustments, and I play with the levels. For example, I want your ducky to be a bit whiter than it is, Ed. Okay? Now, what it's done, it's recorded that actual levels. Okay? If I've done something else like bring a logo in, or let's see what else here, color correct, say I increase the actual saturation, every step gets recorded. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is stop my recording. Okay? Now I'm going to go back to Bridge. I'm not going to save this file. Actually, I'm going to close it and say don't save. The actions were recorded. So let's go back to Bridge. And you see the photograph's still normal. So what I'm going to do now is Command A, select all of them, go to Tools, Photoshop, and then Batch. I'm literally getting all 54 photographs and apply the same color correction to them. Okay? So I'm going to press Batch. Now, it instinctively knows that that was our last one we used. So it picked color correct as the same. Go to Destination and just say, I want to save and close this. Okay? And that's it. It'll literally grab every photo and open it and close it. Now let's go back to Bridge and we can see it's kind of, oh, that went really fast. See, holy, wow, that's really fast. Do you see that? Yeah. Okay, so it's automatically corrected. Now, there's a few interesting things happening here. I don't know if this is the one with the tripod wobbled, Ed? Okay. Yeah, you're gonna now Ed has to manually do each individual one and center it. I would probably just redo it again. Yeah, yeah. Cool. Well, he took 54. He didn't need to make 54, but you could actually, you know what? He's right. He could get rid of some. So ones that are a little bit wobbly, it's wobbly. You could say he's just intoxicated, the duck. You know, he was really difficult to photograph. He was moving all the time. All right, so guys, let's stop there. That's part one of our lesson, and then I'll get into the scripting aspect later. Is that cool?